Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. Today is Wednesday the 14th. My name is Estefania Lopez and I'm the Marketing Associate for Telarus. Today we have a great training call lined up for us by our friends at BroadVoice, and we're very happy to have their VP of Channel, Tesley Smith, with us. Quick note to our partners before we get started, please remember that if you have any questions throughout today's presentation to utilize the chat feature, and those will be addressed at the Q&A portion at the end. So with that, I'll turn the time over to Tesley.
All right. Thank you, Estefania. First off, thank you for the opportunity. We are extremely excited for the chance to come in here and speak with your partners and really talk about what's so exciting about BroadVoice. It's an exciting time for us in our company. We're in a rapid growth phase, and what we've tried to do is build it around really the advice of our current partners and what they're telling us. We're well aware that there's multiple options in our space right now. And what we've tried to do is tailor our product around the SMB space, around really three things. That's to pay well, deliver a reliable and redundant network, and really to take ownership of the implementation. We find that as a space that our current partners have put really big emphasis on. Hey, let us do what we do well, which is sell. So without further ado, and listening any more to me, I'll open the floor to our Director of Channel Marketing, Marissa Frieden, and she'll give you an overview of BroadVoice, kind of who we are, what we do well, and then hopefully a deep dive with one of our solutions architects into our new platform called Beehive. Marissa?
All right, thank you, Tess. And just to reiterate what Tess said, we're really excited to work with you guys. I had the opportunity to visit the corporate headquarters for Telarus with Michael and Rebecca Rosen, our VP of Marketing, and Tess just a couple weeks ago, and the whole atmosphere and just overall welcoming feeling from your team was really refreshing. So we're excited to get started to working with more of the company. I'm going to start with giving you guys a little bit of background of who BroadVoice is. So we have what we think is a unique story. Our company was started with bootstrapping by Jim Murphy, who's our current CEO, and his college roommate at the time, Ari. They were living in Northridge, California, selling pagers in 1991. And when the Northridge earthquake hit, they actually had kind of a huge stockpile of pagers and inventory in Ari's bedroom. He also had a huge saltwater aquarium, which you can kind of see some of this depicted in this picture here. And the aquarium essentially flooded the room and damaged all the pagers. So they got a check cut from FEMA. They took that and they started what became Rampage Cellular. So Rampage Cellular was their first business, started in 1991, and the company's grown since then. And we love to tell that story because it kind of has a different meaning for everybody. So I've heard Jim tell it one way, Tess tells it another way. But the whole idea of the entrepreneurship, starting off as friendships, is really kind of what defines the culture of our company. So we're constantly looking to innovate. We're constantly enabling the teams and our partners to have a sense of ownership and contribution. And that really drives, a lot of the effort and a lot of the amazing experience that I'm going to talk about in just a little bit really comes from the culture that we create here at BroadVoice. And so we operate under three basic principles. One is our people, making sure that we hire amazing people to provide an amazing experience. And this is both the experience that we have internally with each other as well as the experience that we're extending to our partners and our customers. Our process, we're really striving for operational excellence, and I'll talk a lot about this later, but we put a lot of resources behind our implementation process to make sure that that's a seamless experience, again, both for partners and customers. And I'll get into detail later. And then finally, products. So we're constantly looking at innovation. As Tess said, we're really geared towards that SMB marketplace, and we're really looking at ways to differentiate ourselves in that space and to really bring some constant innovation into that arena. And here's just a little timeline to kind of show the full history. So as I mentioned earlier, we started in 1991 with Rampage Cellular. In 2001, they purchased a company called DSL Extreme. And then in 2006, which is really when they became their first voice company, was Phone Power, providing residential service. And then in 2013, they acquired a company called BroadVoice. They kept the name but incorporated all of the BroadVoice subscribers into the current platform that we have now. And now we exist in the channel as BroadVoice. And we're located still out of Northridge, California, so all of our customer service support, everything is headquartered out of this office. Again, founded in 2006 in terms of our telecommunications service. All our service is 100% U.S.-based. Nothing goes offshore. We are privately held and profitable. We have 200,000 customers, and our data centers, we have redundant data centers in Los Angeles and Boston. And this is a quick look at our executive team. So Jim Murphy is our CEO, Sam is our president, and George is our COO. Chesley Smith on the call today, our VP of Channel. We have Rebecca Rosen, who is our VP of Marketing. Jennifer Vandenberg is our VP of Customer Experience, and then Maggie handles our Carrier Relations and Commissions. And as I just mentioned, we're geo-redundant, so our data center, data center is at One Wilshire in Los Angeles. We have another in Boston. We also have geo-call routing, smart edge devices, and our IP phones, which we'll talk about when we get into the product section. And then who doesn't like a good logo slide? So these are just some of the partners, some of the customers that we're currently working with. And then our people. So this is actually a picture of some of our channel managers here. We have 9 channel managers across the country. Our team's consistently growing. We have 3 on the West Coast, we have 2 on the East Coast, and the rest reside in the central areas of the country. Each channel manager is paired up with a partner sales manager. So the way we've structured our team is to make sure that we can have a rapid response that really still provides sales support to our partners. Each partner sales manager supports a channel manager. So essentially they're behind the desk, able to do quotes, assist with onboarding. They're really acting as the bridge between sales and implementation. So once you actually close the deal, it's your PSM that's going to go through, process the paperwork, contracts, work with the customer to actually make sure we have everything in check before we hand the account off into an implementation team. And we have our solution architects. So these are fully dedicated technical resources to you guys, and they work with both the channel managers and the PSM. So the 3 of them work as a team to do discovery if we need network diagrams, or if we need someone to go on site for larger deals to kind of assess the needs and help you build that design solution. That's what the solution architects are there for. And these are direct resources that you guys can reach out to. You don't need to go through the channel manager. We'd like to consider that channel management team, the PSM, and the solutions architect one unit. And next I'll move on talking to a little bit about our process. So this is a quote we heard a few months ago. It said, all UCaaS carriers suck at installation. Just suck the least and you'll do great. So we were at a show. This was some feedback that we got from a partner, and we all kind of laughed a little. We put hashtag goals on there, but really our goal is not to suck the least at installation. We really want to be known as the carrier that excels at implementation. So I'll talk a little bit about how we're striving to achieve that. First, we have our channel managers. Again, these will be the people that regional VPs and the agents, you guys can act directly with them. They're out there recruiting. They're going to handle onboarding, training, coordinating lunch and learns and events. They'll provide that sales support. As I said earlier, they can go on site at larger deals with you if you need help in terms of customer assessment for design solutions. You can have both your channel manager and your solution architect on site, and then they just handle the relationship. Our solutions architects are really all about technical side of sales, and then our PSMs are behind the desk. They're providing that the sales support, quotes, anything that you need, rapid turnaround time. That's what they're there for. And once you actually sell a deal with us, you are assigned 2 additional resources for implementation. First is the service coordinator. They really take ownership of the account once it's sold. So they're going to handle the order processing, port requests. They're going to schedule all the calls and meetings, and they'll facilitate training and would be the main point of contact for activation. So from the time that you essentially the contract process and credit is approved, that service coordinator takes over and holds the customer's hand all the way through the end. The additional resource is the TIS specialist, our technical implementation specialist. So they are the ones that will work with you, the partners, and the customer to come up with the design solution. So once we actually have the quote and everything processed, we'll go through extension lists, call flows, all of the technical details involved in setting the order up. That TIS is going to be the one to collect all that information and then essentially oversee the build and the actual activation of the account from the technical side. And then 30 days after activation, if the customer has any questions, they can dial directly into that TIS to get support right away. And here's a quick overview of our implementation timeline. It's about 21 business days for an average size order. Smaller orders can be done a little faster. Multi-locations might roll out a little longer. But step one is order processing. This is where that PSM goes in, processes contract, if we have to do credit checks or anything like that. They'll get that set up as well as start the initial handoff to the service coordinator and get the first call scheduled. Step two would be to have that design call and collect any remaining paperwork that we need from the customer. And then step three would be order confirmation. This is where we are actually going through, finalizing the details based off the design call, putting port requests in, and coordinating activation dates. And then step four is the actual build. So the account is built on the switch, equipment shipped, we have equipment activated, we make sure port requests are completing and scheduled. If there's temporary numbers, we would work those in at some point between steps 3 and 4. And then finally is onboarding. So depending on how the customer wants to be installed, they can either plug and play the phones. If they want to have someone from support on the line, we can schedule that in advance. If they need additional training or if they have a reception desk and they want to coordinate special training for a specific phone or specific feature, then the service coordinator will work with the customer to set all that up. And so now you know how we work and who we are. We'll talk a little bit about what we actually do. So we'll talk at a high level today about our cloud PBX products. We also offer SIP trunking, unified communications, managed security, contact center, and we can sell bandwidth. So our sweet spot, it's that SMB space. So we're 10 to 100 seats. We can take seats above that, but that's typically where we see a lot of our business come through. We offer a call center light product that we'll demo a little bit in towards the end of this presentation. And we also offer call paths. This is actually new for us in 2018, and this was based on feedback from our partners that they want the ability to go in and sell to this SMB space and even offer an additional layer of cost savings. And we're great for those companies that have limited IT resources because we have a product suite that really has a great price point to give them some level of security in terms of managed and network security as well as all of our voice features. In terms of industries, we work with a lot of retail chains. You saw Jamba Juice on there. We also work with Applebee's, Pandora, and Benbridge Jewelers. We have a ton of medical office customers. We offer, we're HIPAA and PCI compliant. And then we work with a lot of schools and real estate offices. We have billing codes for law offices, so some unique features for these types of spaces. And we have two basic consumption models. So first is the seat model, which is essentially unlimited usage, unlimited call paths, and it's just based on the price per seat. And then our secondary model is our call path model. So this is in those situations like for a real estate office where they may need 100 phones, but they may only have 30 people on the phone at any given time. We offer this call path structure so that we can actually go in and provide a piece of hardware at every desk and then limit the number of lines. So we do allow bursting on this, but this is a way to actually reduce the seat price down and then actually reduce by only paying for the call paths that they need. And what's unique about our call path service is you can aggregate between locations. So if you have a multi-location account for existence, or for example, Applebee's really leverages this. So I believe they have 200 locations, and we really worked with them to come up with a unique solution so that they can pool all their call paths across multiple locations. Typically in a restaurant, you're not going to see a ton of call volume. And so that was a great case study for them, which we can share the details of that as a follow-up to this call. And a unique differentiator to Broad Voice is that on orders with 10 seats or more, we will deploy an edge device. So we consider this us making an investment in the customer's network. So we want to make sure, one, we can provide that QoS to them and that our support team has access to this and visibility into what's going on with their problems. With their network. So we deploy the edge device. It has traffic shaping, VPN data failover, and then the additional managed and network security features that I'll talk about in just a moment can actually be leveraged through this edge device. So here's a quick overview of our pricing. So for hosted seats, we have three basic models. One would be metered, and this is $10. There's no call path model available on this particular feature, but this is great for a doctor's office that has a phone in the waiting room or a lunchroom or something where it's really just very limited usage or inter-office dialing. We have our standard seats, so $18 a month on a 3-year term, and it includes local ID, unlimited calling, a mobile app, voicemail to email notifications, and then we have our Pro seat. So this is $23 a month. It includes all of the features that are listed here. We have our unified communications platform that'll brand new. It'll actually be rolling out towards the end of April, so that'll be an automatic update to all of these Pro seats. And then we have the additional features here. And you can actually mix and match with our services, so you can get a combination of metered, standard, and Pro depending on what the customer's needs are. And then the pricing for CallPath model changes slightly. If you can see here, the seat price will drop to $7, and then you're paying per CallPath. So we have a 3-to-1 ratio on CallPaths, and it's $30 per path. And here's some of the a la carte features available. So you can add additional DIDs. We also have international DIDs available, auto attendants. So each seat on a Pro seat includes a personal auto attendant, but if they'd like to set a company-wide auto attendant up, they can add that on here. We have conference bridges with an unlimited number of conference attendees. We have a very robust analytics package that can be added on every order, and then additional storage. We also offer 4G failover, edge device on orders that maybe don't have 10 seats, but still if the solution architects might deem there's a need for that edge device, then we can add that on there. And then installation anywhere in the country is $750 up to 25 seats. After 25 seats, the price goes to $30 per user. And that is actually a site survey, installation, and training by a certified broad-voiced installer. And moving on to SIP trunking, so we have 2 packages for our SIP trunks. The first is $11 on a metered SIP trunk. Again, we allow bursting on here at the 0.029 rate. And then we have our standard trunks. Each of them can have call recording added as an add-on feature. Conference bridges can be added to our SIP trunks, as well as the analytics package and a shared fax. And then down here you can see some of the PBX vendors we're interopt with. And if you don't see the list on here, we can actually follow up with the full list after this call. Or if it's not on our list and you want us to interopt, you can reach out to the solution architect and they can look into that for you. And we are a preferred partner with Polycom. So here's a sample of some of the phones we have. We have our current promotion. You can actually get a VBX 410 for free on an order. And then we have additional benefits with Polycom. So we're one of 3 carriers that has a rental program with them. So we're the only one in the channel, but we can actually offer rental prices to your customers. And then the benefit of this is that if a new model of that Polycom phone comes out, at any time the customer can decide they want to upgrade. If they decide to keep the same phones, then there's a 7-year warranty on that same model. And then if they decide to upgrade to a newer model, they can do that at any time as well. They just have to pay the difference in price. And so that's upgrading to like the next model up as opposed to a new model of the same phone. They also offer a buyback program for old hardware and phone systems. We can send you the details of that, and rebates. So they give a lot of incentives to actually change to Polycom services by offering customers rebates. We've seen some of our partners take advantage of all of these and save the customer a significant amount of money. And then new for us is a markup program. So we actually will give you as a partner the ability to go in and sell up to the MSRP price on a piece of Polycom hardware. So for example, if our price is $150 but the MSRP is $250, you can mark up to $250 and we'll pass through that commission directly to you. Okay, and then a question on the iPeens phones are included. So we have a couple of different promotions running for this quarter. It depends on your commission. So there are promotions for free phones. And then other than that, our seat prices do not include hardware. And then here's a sample of our toll-free package. So we have a metered package that's just pay for what you use, and then you can essentially buy down the rate by buying different bundles of minutes. So you can see the pricing here. And then we have line pooling available across multiple toll-free numbers. And then our contact center, so we'll demo this a bit at the end of the call, but essentially this is that call center light I mentioned earlier. So at $40 per seat, we found that a lot of these SMB customers had needs for call center features, but didn't necessarily need the full-on 5.9 enterprise-level contact center with that enterprise-level pricing. So we have a proprietary system that launched in January of this year that really can service a lot of those needs. So these are some of the features here: automatic call distribution, real-time reporting, the wallboard support, monitor whisper bars, remote agent support. It's incredibly robust, and you can add this on any seat at $40 a seat. And you don't need to have an exact number of call center seats compared to regular seats. If you only need 2 call center agents, then you can just add the call center package to those 2 seats. But this has been a huge selling, just a huge sell for our agents. They've been really excited about it, and we've seen a lot of traction just since the January release of this product. And now I'm going to hand it over to Michael, who's going to talk to you a little bit about our network and managed security services.
All right. This is Michael Farkas-Jones, Solutions Architect for BroadVoice. Like Marissa said, I facilitate support on the sales side and the technical end. And so right now we're going to talk a little bit about the cybersecurity and some of the SD-WAN features that we can offer leveraging our Simple WAN device. So the first one that we're going to talk about is Managed Firewall. So Managed Firewall is a service that we offer that is leveraged by the business support staff. So basically, this is a product that's really great for that SMB space, for customers that don't necessarily have on-site IT staff. They can then offload that low-level IT work onto our business support staff. So any changes in the firewall, any static routes that need to be adjusted, we can do that. So this leverages the existing edge device. It's very scalable. There's no hardware required for feature adds, all facilitated within the Simple WAN device. It facilitates your phone system needs. It's affordable. It's a flat rate per site. And we actually become an extension of the IT staff. So maybe you have monthly subscription-based IT services that you have to pay, a minimum fee every time they come out. Well, leveraging our Managed Firewall, we can alleviate the number of times that customer has to reach out to that IT staff. So keep in mind, Managed Firewall is not desktop support. It's not help desk. They're not going to be able to help you with the email, but they can do a lot of things as long as they take place within the firewall, like port forwarding, static routes. They can adjust the DHCP reservations, port forwarding, firewall rules, and they can adjust VPN connections, both types of VPN tunnels. And that is $50 a month on a 3-year term. And any time that you guys do one of these Managed Firewall packages, we'll actually provide a $750 credit on the installation price. So basically, if it's 25 users or less, the installation will be free. If it's above 25, it'll still be $30 for every user past 25. And then another thing that we offer is cybersecurity. Now, cybersecurity can be layered on top of Managed Firewall. So as you guys know, cybersecurity is a pretty hot button topic nowadays, being with all the election talks and the Sony hack. So customers have this on the front of their minds right now. So one of the things that we offer as cybersecurity is the ability to have Simple WAN create honeypots in the wild. And through these honeypots, they actually lure in would-be intruders. And once the intruders are inside the honeypot, the Simple WAN then takes note of how they were able to gain access, creates a rule to prevent that type of intrusion from happening again, and then pushes that rule to every Simple WAN in the field that's enrolled in the cybersecurity package. So you get attack detection and prevention. It increases your efficiency on the security side by providing real-time security updates and protection. It can provide you reporting. It can let you know if your network is PCI and HIPAA compliant. We'll do monthly basic penetration tests on your network to make sure that the security rules are maintained. And then you get the benefit of having like a vigilant type system for $125 a month. And anytime you guys add this on to the Managed Firewall, once again, we'll throw in a $750 install credit that's good for up to 25 seats. Now, the next thing that we have to talk about is our virtual MPLS product. Now, virtual MPLS, I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. It's just a virtualized MPLS product. So we leverage this using the Simple WANs as well. So just to be candid with you, it's a cheated MPLS or a VPN mesh. But the only difference between your customers facilitating this mesh and the Simple WAN is that the Simple WAN does it automatically. There's no configuration. There's no setup. It's basically clicking a box and hitting save, and then the system is connected. So you get all the benefits of a traditional MPLS network with the resource sharing and the connection of all the sites. However, there's a lot of added benefits that you don't get with a traditional MPLS. So first of all, it's carrier agnostic. Doesn't matter which provider it is. You don't need to have a DIA circuit on top of your transport. Since it leverages your existing DIA circuit, your transport speed is whatever your DIA circuit is. And being that it runs over your DIA circuit, if you guys happen to have 2 internet circuits at that site, you effectively have a redundant MPLS network, which was not possible in the traditional MPLS environment. So this is very affordable. It's very scalable. It's $75 per site, regardless of speed, and we can roll in a new one in about 5 minutes. This is also, if you guys do this on a 3-year term, it comes with a $750 install credit. So, talking about our installation. So our installation is a 3-pronged attack. First, what we do is we do a site survey to establish the readiness of the site for a voice over IP deployment. And we even get down into the real nitty-gritty, so our team will go in there and they'll even identify which type of cabling is in the wall to make sure that it's at least Cat5. Then, they take a stock of all the networking equipment, make sure there's enough Ethernet drops. And then once that site survey has been reviewed by our solutions architects and our installation team here, it's then given the approval to have the installation scheduled. And then on-site installation is performed. And then once the installation is finished, whoever is performing that install at that time is going to stay on site and then train you guys. So they'll do basic handset training, make sure that the entire staff knows how to use the phones, make and receive calls, transfers. They'll show the admin basic portal stuff. And then obviously any more deep dive of the portal, you can come to your solutions architect, your service coordinator, and have that scheduled for a deeper training session. So the base cost of our installation is $750, and that covers up to 25 users. Any users above 25, it's going to be $30 per user. And then one of the interesting things that we're doing in this quarter is we're adding a markup option on the installation. So you guys can mark up the installation as much as 3 times our list price. And then for everything you mark up, we'll throw a pass-through at 50% to you guys. Now, some of the differentiators from the technical side from BroadVoice obviously are the edge device. Most of our competitors either don't offer one or offer one as a last-ditch effort to save a customer. We're able to offer call recording on SIP. Now, because our SIP trunks are managed to the same portal as our cloud seats, we actually have the ability to put more features than just call recording on our SIP trunks. You can have auto attendance on your SIP trunks. And if you had customers that had SIP trunk and cloud accounts, they'd be able to do extension dialing between each other. We're able to offer call pass pricing models. We're now offering residual and hardware rentals. We give you guys the ability to mix and match seat types so you don't have to have everybody on the pro seat. There's a markup option for hardware purchase and installation. You have dedicated sales support in the form of your channel manager, your PSM, your solutions architect, and your service coordinator. We're in the Polycom rental program as well as the Polycom refresh program. Single tier pricing, which means we don't change our seat cost depending upon how many seats from the quote. And all of our quotes are all inclusive, meaning that they include all taxes and fees. We try to be as transparent as possible so that there's no surprises at first invoice.
Thank you, Michael. So I'm going to talk quickly just about our partner program. So we offer evergreen residual. So on 3-year terms for seats and hardware rentals, the residual is evergreen. So as long as the customer is active with us, you guys will continue to earn that residual. We offer partner portal and dedicated support from quote to activation. So we've touched on our team, the channel manager, and the actual support team. But for those partners that want to be self-sufficient, we actually have a fairly robust partner portal that we're continuing to add new features to allow you to be able to quote on site, and manage your own business in that form, as well as leverage the support from your team when you need it. And then President's Club. So we actually offer a pretty fantastic President's Club every year. I had the pleasure of going last year. We'll be heading off again to Mexico this year. And it's for our top performers. So this really is a great incentive, and we'll kind of remind you how you're doing throughout the year and make sure you guys get excited about that. And then our next step, so we're going to kind of go into a little bit of onboarding. So just at a high level, the first thing you would do is either through your regional VP or directly through your channel manager. I believe you guys have access to all of that on the Telarus portal. would be to make an introduction, or we'd like to make an introduction to your team. So you'd meet your PSM, your solution architect, and your channel manager. This is the team that you'd be working with on a regular basis. And then from there, based on what your business needs are, we would like to, schedule in-depth training. So typically we have a technical product training that your solution architect would lead you through. We can do more in-depth demos based on the products you're the most interested in. Get you set up on the partner portal with a username, password, and quick overview on how to use it. It's pretty intuitive. And then go through all of our implementation and escalation procedures. And then after that, if you're interested in a demo unit from us, we can get you set up with one of those. Make sure that you have all the collateral that you need and any marketing support that you need. And then look at strategies. Our channel managers like to spend some time sitting down with each of our agents and look at what they're trying to accomplish, what businesses they're working with, to see where we're the best fit and where we can help you, and then set goals together looking forward. And then finally, profit. We want to see you guys earn those residuals, and we want to see all of you at President's Club with us next year. All right, so that's our presentation. We'd actually like to switch over quickly, and just to give you a sense of what our portal looks like and our call center package, Michael's going to take over and give a quick demo.
All right, guys, so I'm just going to do a little high-level overview of the portal. As always, if you guys would like a deeper dive, you can feel free to reach out to your channel managers, and we can definitely schedule that. Let me just go ahead and open one of our friendly customer accounts that lets us use their services for demoing. And the reason I'm starting at the very beginning is because I kind of wanted to show you guys how fast and responsive the portal is. So I just took it from a platform admin login directly to an account admin login in about 10 seconds. So the first thing you guys would notice is that we give you a snapshot of the activity of your account as it stands right now from a daily perspective. So we're going to give you information about your call volume, how many calls you took, your minute usage, and some other basic metrics just on the forefront. And then if you guys need to, you can click that over to a month overview as well as a year overview. And the next section that I'm going to take you guys to is our user section. So this is going to be a listing of all the users that you guys have on that account. So as you can see, there's an extension. They have a name. They have a role within the company. We have 3 access levels. We do user, manager, and account admin. And one of the new things on this platform, as opposed to our last one, is that we actually have the ability now to create multiple account admins. So it's very helpful in terms of auditing activity on an account to see which admin performed which action. Now that we have multiple account admin logins, this is very easy to track now. It'll also have any email that they have associated with their account here. And if they have a mobile phone, it'll also show that number as well. And then we'll just go ahead and edit one of these users so you guys can see kind of the level of control you guys would have over each user. So as you can see, you can assign a first name, last name. You can assign an email to it and a mobile number. You can change the extension at any time without having to do anything special, reconfigure a line or anything like that. And anytime you guys see this little orange cloud, it means you can inject custom audio into that service. So we're actually leveraging the ability to have a welcome message played for your inbound callers before the call is delivered to your phone, sort of like an auto-attendant greeting without the menu options behind it. You can also change the login options at any time. You can do things like enable hot desking right from here, turn off and on intercom, and you guys can adjust the voicemail settings. You guys can choose to have the missed calls go to this user's voicemail box, or you can have it go to a different user's voicemail box. It's completely up to you guys. And then with BroadVoice, we deliver all of our hardware pre-configured, so there's no need to worry about having to have your customers call in and configure hardware. However, if you have any customers that like to do things on their own, once they have that device, if they'd like to customize it to their liking, they can just click on the picture of their phone here. And if they want to change any of these options, they can very easily go in here and do so. So if you want to change that from Park 708 to Park 709, all you need to do is hit save, reboot that phone, and now your phone has those custom settings that you just set. And then the next section that I want to take you guys through is the auto attendant. So nothing new on the auto attendant. You guys are very familiar with IVRs and auto attendants, obviously. So on our system, we have names associated with them. We have extensions assigned to them, so you guys can transfer calls to them. You guys can choose to have your extensions dialed directly. We have timeout options, and you can configure what happens after a timeout. And then we try to make the menu options very straightforward. So as you notice, you're not going to see any options that are not configured. So, and the system actually walks you through the creation of the auto attendant. So every option that you want to make, the system actually tells you every possible path that button can take you to. So we try to make this very intuitive, very user-friendly, and most importantly, very quick. Now the next section that we have is ring groups. So we have two ways of delivering calls to groups of users. Obviously, for those customers that have a need for our contact center light package, they'll have queuing available, call distribution, skills-based routing, things of that nature, all available to them in the contact center. However, if you just need, call delivery to, let's say, the sales group or a support group, but you don't necessarily need the queuing or the analytics, you would leverage the ring groups. So they work very similarly to queuing, except there's, just delivering calls to a group of users, and you can set whether you want recording turned on for this ring group, and you can determine what happens after nobody answers. And then next we have the contact center. Now the contact center is kind of the crown jewel, you would say, of our current platform. It's kind of the thing that we're most proud of. So we'll go ahead and edit one of these contact centers. So you have a lot of options and a lot of configurability surrounding the contact center. So obviously you can name it, assign an extension to it, but you guys can dictate the max number of callers that can be in queue. And this is typically based upon, your average call volume and the number of employees you have manning that queue. You can prepend the caller ID information. So this is extremely helpful if you have a person who's a member of two different contact centers. Let's say you have somebody who's in a sales queue and a billing queue. Well, they want a way to quickly and easily identify which department they need to answer as. So with prepending the caller ID name, you can have it say sales, or you can have it say billing before the caller ID. You guys can set whether the agents are going to have to log in using a PIN, what's the maximum wait time of the queue, and what happens afterwards. You guys can configure a breakout option to let them hit a digit before to get out of the queue, and you can configure where that button takes them. We also have an interesting feature, retain position. So basically, you can configure this, and if their inbound callers are on their cell phone waiting on hold for an available agent, and let's say they pass through a bad area or through a tunnel and they lose that call, well, as long as they call back within the allotted time, they're going to be placed right back in the same spot they were in line. You guys can also configure the timings of how long you ring each agent, how long until the next agent is rung. You guys can then update your rosters. And you guys can do things like auto log out agents if they miss a certain number of calls. And this is also where you would go to configure the skills-based routing. So as you can see, you have champion, pro, all the way down to beginner. And basically the system delivers calls to all the champions first, or it tries to, and then it goes down the line. Now we also configure announcements and music on hold, so the system can just play music on hold. You can choose to have it stop the music on hold and announce the caller's position, and then return to the music on hold. So it's a lot of options in the configuring of it, but I kind of really wanted to show you guys the way it would look from a live perspective. This is what you would see as a live view. Now this can be placed just on the supervisor's computer. This can be thrown up on a TV for wallboard support. So basically, as you'll notice, we give you information about the inbound caller. Where they're calling from, the number, the location, how long they were on hold before the call was answered, what's the current status of this call, and who's the assisting agent. And then you get information regarding the roster as well. So you have 4 people logged in, nobody's on break, and 6 people are logged out. And you guys can also click it over to a map view of the inbound callers. Now, as you can see, it'll show you kind of the hot spots of where your inbound callers are calling from, and you can kind of drill down to identify issues and whatnot. So the next way we can view the contact center is by looking at a post-mortem view. And for this, we go to the analytics section. So the analytics section provides a lot more information regarding the queue. So it gives you total number of calls, how many were answered, average hold time before answering, average call duration, and this is a fun one too, the average speed of answer, how long it typically rings an agent's desk before that agent picks it up. And on the analytics view, you can also go to the map and see where your calls are calling from. You can go to the demographic view and see, the difference between landline calls and mobile calls and your top 10 states and top 10 cities. And if you want to make it, top 15 cities, very easy to go ahead and do so. To give you a breakdown on your agent's performance, an individual agent's average numbers, their average call duration, their average speed of answer, and then all your call records associated with the contact center. So it'll give you the timestamp, the caller ID name, the calling number, their hold time, location, assisting agent, and the actual speed of answer that this caller experienced, and the final status of the call. And anytime you guys see a blue microphone, it means you can play the recording right from the portal, or you can download it to your computer. Now the next section that we're going to take you guys through is the inbound number section. So this is where you guys would go to configure things like account codes. You guys can also go to this section to configure what we call nicknames for phone numbers. As you can see, the Sunset Phone. So that way, when you guys are running reports on your call logs, you guys can run reports based on the nicknames and not the numbers. So you don't have to remember everybody's DID in the company. You can just remember their nickname. Now, we also give you guys the ability to add numbers on the fly. Very quickly, very easily, just type in the area code of the number that you want. And you just fill out this couple fields of information. And that number is immediately available to be used for whatever you guys would need it for. Also on this platform, we support a feature called One Number, which allows you guys to have one phone number that will allow you guys to receive calls, faxes, and texts without having to provide a different phone number. And then kind of the last thing I wanted to show you guys would be an example of that analytics package. So the analytics package kind of provides the same information that you would find in the metrics of the contact center. The only difference is that on the analytics package, you guys can actually apply any source to that analytics package. So that could be a user, that could be a ring group, that can be a phone number, that can be an auto attendant. And it basically will just track metrics based on that source field. So one of the advantages of the analytics package, it's really for making customized reports, and the biggest advantage we have in terms of that is the filter option. So you can have all of your data here, and then you can decide if you want to filter it. So if you guys have a restaurant that's looking for a location for a new store opening, you can, filter the calls by the state or nearest to these locations so you can see where the most interest is. If you're trying to track successfulness of a campaign, maybe you want to know about, calls that are over a certain duration because you find that calls that last over 5 minutes, the chance of getting a sale is higher. Or you just want to search by certain area codes. You can apply all these filters to the results and tailor that report to exactly what you're looking for. So this will also support messaging between your guys' locations. There's also going to be a soft phone. Now, the benefit of our communications side piece is that it's a web-based application and not a software-based. So you don't have to worry about installing anything or having IT do anything on the computers. You simply go to the website and log in. So that's kind of the high-level overview of the portal. Once again, if you guys want anything deeper than that, you can schedule stuff with your channel managers to give you a walkthrough on that. And I'm going to turn the call back over to Marissa now.
Yeah, so that's a quick summary of who we are. As Michael said, we're happy to kind of work individually with each of you guys to set up any specific trainings or go more in depth in anything that we reviewed today. I believe all of our information should be on the portal in terms of rate cards and collateral. But if you have any questions or anything, you can reach out directly to any of us that were on the call today. I don't know, Steph, if you or if Stefania can share our information, but we're happy to answer any questions at this point and do any kind of follow-up that we can. And let's see. So I can reply back to some of the questions on here, but if there's nothing else, then we want to thank you guys all for your time today.
All right, Marissa, and then I'm guessing, did you go ahead and address any of the questions in the chat that you want to take a few minutes for any more of those?
Yeah, I can just quickly go through. It looks like we answered most of them, but yeah, the VVX 410 is available for free on a 3-year term. It just impacts the SPIF, and so that information should be up on the portal. So I see someone noted that info is not there yet, so I can work with Stacy to check on that. But in the interim, we can make sure anyone that wants the information, that either the deck that we reviewed today and the additional collateral support, rate cards and all that, we can get that directly to you. And then in terms of the residuals are to partners. So what our rate with Telarus and our contract, depending on what your rate with them, whatever that residual is that you would earn, you're going to earn that evergreen as long as the customer is active with us. And I think I answered all the questions that were on here. If there's anything else, so I'm happy to answer them.
All right, so I am not seeing any more questions coming through. So one last note to everyone, today's presentation recording will be available to you shortly in your back office under recorded trainings. We'd definitely like to thank Chesley, Marissa, and the BroadVoice team again for their time, and thanks to everyone for your participation. Have a great rest of the selling week.